So we are gathered here for the press conference. Waiting for the press conference. Not start yet, so we're hold on. Then go try use the internet for act with this morning again to make it not go fluent. So we here, we waiting on the PNP press conference. So we make sure early this morning. Yes. So just go and wait until it starts. Not start yet. So we are all on for the PNP Betty. Oh, you're here. We are all on for the press conference. It not start up yet, but we're here waiting on the People's National Party press conference to hear what's coming. I need to fix that thing, to hear what the party is saying. I'm not seeing anything over here. Let me check on the Facebook page. I know them never too ready yet. I think maybe the next 5-10 minutes they will be here. Patrick, hello, young lady, good morning. Yes, good morning. Maxine, you're waiting to, yeah man, we are waiting. We have to hear it, what's going on. But I know they're going to hack you know, before me come and hear them. I bet you the PNP now get a good. Hey, them people are them lying, wicked and general. Me see all the one come out and talk about how they try for hacking on page within lie itself. They want put blame. That's why they come out and talk about bombshell, bomb threat. Hey, that's some serious thing happen again. Bomb threat. It start? No, alright, I'm gonna say if it start.
Maybe wondering why it took us so long to speak.
Yeah, it start now.
But we have the opinion that you have to have stuff to leave out before you have
Bluetooth mode.
In other words, you should
Connected.
before seeking to be understood. And so we took the time so we could examine the information that is out there. We could meet with the officer core of the party, which we did yesterday, and to meet with the candidates. And we also had that meeting as well yesterday. We will undergo a process of review that will start from the constituency level, getting a report from the individual constituencies. We will also get a report from the regions based on how our party is structured. And of course, there will also be a national appraisal committee that will look at the election results, what we did right, what we did wrong, what we need to improve on, and the process to implement any change. Now I'm going to ask the leader of the party to give a more general overview of the elections and the way forward. So,
thank you, Dr. Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good morning. I wish to thank all who supported our election campaign, all of our 63 candidates and their campaign teams, our party workers, our supporters who came out and voted for our candidates, our bloggers, our donors and contributors, our election day workers, our police, military. We increased our vote nationally in this election by over 97,000 Jamaicans. And we doubled the number of seats that we hold in Parliament from 14 to 28. Our team in Parliament is strong, and we will be a formidable force in the Parliament of the land to hold the government to account and to defend the rights and interests of the Jamaican people. I am happy to announce that all our MPs elect, except for one who is traveling abroad, have signed a letter to the Governor General confirming their support for me to be appointed leader of the opposition.
Yes.
Since the election, our party has been active. A meeting of the officers of the party was held yesterday to discuss the way forward and internal issues that we need to chart a time frame for related to things like our various internal conferences, annual conference, and so on. This was followed by another gathering of our candidates and the national campaign team to thank everyone for their efforts and to have initial dialogue around the conduct of the elections in each constituency. Written reports from each constituency team will be required, and further evaluations are to follow. And the General Secretary mentioned an appraisal committee which will be constituted to do an overall in-depth assessment of what took place. And our executive committee of the party will recommence its meetings on Monday coming. I now want to address the widespread concerns that have been expressed in the public domain about the conduct of the general election last week, Wednesday, the 3rd of September 2025. As a responsible political movement that is committed to nation building and national development, it was important that we should await having reliable information before speaking to these issues, rather than proceeding on raw emotion and hearsay.
True.
Having waited for the final count to establish the official results in each constituency, including ascertaining the number of spoiled or rejected ballots and how these were apportioned between the two parties, the advice that we have received from our lawyers who attended the final counts is that a magisterial recount is unlikely to change the outcome in any of the seats. In the case of West Central St. Andrew, however, the nature of the irregularities which took place there is being carefully scrutinized in anticipation of a case being brought to the constituted authority for appropriate relief. I will be able to answer more questions on that today. That matter is with our lawyers. While we don't have sufficient evidence to mount a legal challenge against the outcome of the elections, we are nonetheless deeply concerned at the extensive and I would say vulgar use of state resources to impact the outcome of the election over the campaign period. Specifically, the massive political advertising paid for by ministries, departments, and agencies of government during and up to election day at the cost of taxpayers to benefit the incumbent JLP administration is problematic. And we are going to have to, as a nation, look at the way in which public resources are used in support of political achievements in the election period. We're also concerned about the unprecedented scale of distribution of benefits, black tanks, fertilizer, building materials, cash, by both the state and the Jamaica Labour Party. And in some cases, it's very different to distinguish one from the other.
Sorry.
And we have received numerous reports of widespread suppression of PNP votes across marginal constituencies, with reports of very large sums of money being paid. And this strategy was enhanced by the timing of the elections and related giveaways in the back-to-school week, when parents in low-income families in particular are most vulnerable and could be financially induced to prioritize loyalty to their families and their children over party loyalties. A second concern we have is in relation to some aspects of the operations as conducted by the Electoral Office of Jamaica. We think there should be an independent inquiry into the operation of the 2025 general election, and it should be urgently undertaken with changes implemented for future elections, because we need to improve the processes. In particular, the process that results in hours-long waits at many polling stations by voters who turn out to vote, frustrating electors and causing many to leave without voting. And this factor is exacerbated by the law, which only gives 3 hours as a window to employees to be away from their workplace during working hours for voting, which is clearly inadequate in Jamaica's modern realities when you consider the time for transportation to get to a polling station from the workplace, depending on where the person works and where they vote, and the lengthy delays in the lines in some polling stations. We also need to look at the use of finger inking. That was originally implemented to prevent multiple voting, but it currently facilitates voter suppression as persons are being induced financially to dip their finger in ink prior to the vote and then being paid not to vote. And we have several reports of this being done. We're also concerned about the black book, and we believe that the polling that is used in polling stations, it must be made available during the polling process for viewing by indoor agents and not left entirely to the presiding officer to identify voters who present themselves without IDs. Because if the presiding officer is operating in a way that is not satisfactory from an independent, impartial point of view, there needs to be the ability of the indoor agents on either side to scrutinize what is going on there. And the integrity of the voters list needs to be re-verified through a comprehensive re-verification of voters to clean it of dead voters in particular and other voters who don't have a place of residence in the constituency where they vote. We're sending teams into those constituencies which were most affected by these issues to conduct a field survey. This survey will empower Jamaicans who experienced or witnessed these issues to share their experiences with us. Many persons are deeply upset by what took place, and this process will allow them to get some closure. It will also assist us to advocate for changes to the law and the processes of elections that will ultimately help to protect Jamaica's democracy from tactics that clearly affected the ultimate outcome of the 25 general election and which are not contemplated by the system that we have. I will now hand over to our legal advisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Party Leader. As you said at the beginning, and
your mic low, Ilta.
As commented, we are at this time not intending to have any magisterial recounts. Other processes that are available, legal processes that are available, are being looked at based on the evidence that will come forward. I will just echo the point that you make about a review of the management of the election by the EOJ. I think after almost 30 years of the system that was robust at the beginning, I think there is no concern that gaps are opening up and they need to be examined and we will be doing so by the processes that you have outlined in the various constituencies and regions as well. So the other point really is the legislative and regulatory improvements that may well result from all of this, which is to ensure that the use of state resources prior to and during elections are much better managed. And I think in the Electoral there are clearly loopholes there, and we need to fill those gaps through the legislation and or regulation. And I believe that the point was well made by the abuse that we saw during this election. Those are the points.
Who are you?
At this time.
Thank you,
MP
Hilton. No, so in relation to I know one of the media houses carried an article saying that we were going for a magisterial recount in 2 constituencies. I'm not sure where they got that report from, because we did not give that information to the media. We know that on the night of election you have a preliminary count, and in the days after you have the final count, which we waited on, so we could get what is the official result from the EOJ. And after looking at that, we realized that there were 3 constituencies: Central Kingston, East Central St. Catherine, and Northern Trelawney, where the number of rejected ballots were more than the margin of victory. However, when we consulted with the teams that were present for the final count, we were reliably advised by them that of the rejected ballots, they are split roughly evenly between the 2 main political parties, and therefore you would not get any material change in the result in the constituencies. And as a result of that, we took a decision not to pursue any magisterial recount. So that is the official position of the People's National Party. We do have some other concerns of acts of intimidation, aggression, and vandalism that would have taken place since the elections have been concluded, and specifically in South St. James, in the Anchovy Division, persons have been making threats about removing the water pumps, and I think they even made reference to using dynamite and other things like that to destroy the infrastructure. We've seen videos as well and heard voice notes of persons in Eastern Portland that would have made comments that resources would be limited to the newly elected Member of Parliament, Isaac Buchanan. We have seen as well in Southeast St. Mary, where there's been vandalism of a community center and the removal of certain infrastructure in that area. And probably the most concerning of them all is in South Trelawney, where a team from the Labour Party, led by persons in leadership, went to the house, the accommodation of our candidate, Paul Patmore, to threaten him. We believe that these things are intended to intimidate and weaken the democratic process within the country.
Yes.
And we are calling on the members of the Labour Party, the leadership, to rein in their supporters and for them to understand that we do believe in a democratic process and we have to accept the outcome. Similarly to how we have accepted the result at the national level, it can't be that they accept it at the national level, but at the constituency level they are reluctant to accept that Isaac Buchanan did defeat Anne-Marie Vaz in a free and fair election that took place in East Portland, and that as the duly elected representative, he should be accorded with all the respect and the authority that should be conveyed on such office. We also want to encourage our candidates across the length and breadth of the country to remove the paraphernalia that was put up during the time of campaigning. And some of our candidates will not have much to do because their opponents already removed them before the elections. But for those that still have some material, we're going to ask them, use this opportunity to ask them to remove those paraphernalia from the different constituencies. And I know that the municipal corporations will be playing a role in ensuring that we can return to normalcy. The matter surrounding West Central St. Andrew is a matter, as was said by the leader of the party, that the legal team that has been engaged by our candidate is putting together their documents, and for further information on that they will speak at a later date. And so we'll leave it at that, and I will now open the floor to get any questions that may exist. Nationwide or Riva, what is the appropriate name?
Yeah, but that must
Siobhan Campbell, still Nationwide News. My question is to Mr. Golding. Based on the concerns raised, are you casting doubt on the legitimacy of the outcome of the 2025 general elections? And are you concerned that such doubts would raise speculation of Jamaican people and cast a shadow on Jamaica's electoral process?
Yes. The answer must be yes.
I'm concerned about the widespread reports that we have received of voter suppression
May I just
strategies
answer
that were
with-
employed,
I don't know
in
where they got
particular,
no share.
to dissuade our supporters and in some instances our workers from voting, and in case of workers from turning up in some instances for the elections. I'm not seeking to in any way suggest that we are not accepting that the government that has been elected will be duly constituted. I don't want to go down that road. I don't think that's a wise road for Jamaica. But I also think it's important that we don't sweep things under the carpet, which have become, and which were in this election, a significant factor at play. And the use of financial resources to suppress votes, based on what we have heard, these are now indirect reports. That's why we're going to go through a process of going into the field to hear from people directly what they experienced and what they saw. But based on the reports that we've received, this is a matter which really needs to be confronted by Jamaica's democracy, and certainly by our party going forward as to how we can try to respond to these types of tactics, which have become a central part of how our opponent operates in trying to secure power for themselves.
Let me just comment a little more on what the party just said, which is that in Guyana, recently there was a general election in Guyana on September 1. I think we're all aware of that. Coming out of that election, the EU delegation, the European Union delegation, has issued a report. And when I read the report, a lot of what they commented on and expressed concern about were actually at play, certainly complained of widely in the Jamaican situation. And that tells you that there are the question of the democratic process being legitimized is also a question of
But nobody
the
knows to act
various
like they don't know
activities
saying that
and the concerns and the issues
Everybody knows
that
saying
are raised that will affect the quality of the democracy. And I think that's a lot of the concerns that are being raised here and need to be pursued is around not just the specific legal aspects, but about some of the concerns and gaps that may have opened up in our electoral system that needs to be addressed.
not taking anybody.
Morning, Desmond Richards here, Rebel Radio. Mr. President, you identified reasons why the party lost, and secondly, What are your concerns about the low voter turnout? And I would like to hear if the party has plans to encourage voters to hold their votes.
All if people they come out more, they want to get for vote, so that not make no sense. Because people will go.
I would say that there's something perplexing about the voter turnout statistics, based on the fact that during the campaign, right through to the end of the campaign, the energy and enthusiasm on the ground was palpable,
Remember people
significant,
see it, you know. Remember
And
people see it, and a lot of people are judged.
suggested that there would have been a stronger turnout. As indeed, the polls, right up to the last poll, which was published on the Sunday before the election, indicated that, based on the expressions of persons polled, they were expecting
Nobody come up in
significantly
the
higher
box,
turnout.
and not come up in a box. Me
What
not take
happened on the
nobody in
day?
a box.
Needs to be examined
Listen, we are
carefully.
listen.
I think it was a combination of factors at play.
We just a listen.
I
the
think that
press
there were
conference. Me not take
persons
nobody
who
in a
didn't
box.
vote because the lines were long and slow, often in the hot sun, sometimes in the rain,
Yeah.
and they
So
got
they
fed
can't.
up and left.
You want to tell me Jamaica can't
I think that the financial inducements of which I speak or have spoken were a major factor as well in dissuading some people from voting. In terms of why we didn't win the election, we lost it narrowly. If we had 4 more seats, we would form government today. And when we look at the seats that we have in mind, we lost all of those by less than 500 votes. And in all of those, some of the issues which I raised were prominent factors at play. So obviously, I don't want to prejudge what the appraisal committee will say based on their investigations. But as I said, the low voter turnout is a bit of a mystery as to why that transpired, given what we know and what we saw and what we felt during the campaign. I would say one other thing, which is that the voters list itself has not been cleansed comprehensively for over a decade. I can't even remember when the last proper re-verification. Early 2000s. So it's probably 2 decades now since that was done. And given the nature of our population, how people move around, move to other parts of Jamaica to seek work, and that sort of thing, and the people who die, and there's no automatic removal of voters on them.
Migrate.
The number on the voters list from which the percentage turnout is derived is a questionable number. And so the voter turnout statistic itself is necessarily understated. The degree of understatement is what we don't know.
And if I may add to that, the People's National Party polled an additional 97,000 votes over the 2020 elections. The Jamaica Labour Party polled 5,000 more over that time. And as has been said, if you look at some of our areas, there was significant suppression that took place in some of our areas by persons inducing individuals in there not to go to vote. And with the long lines that were present at the polling station, there is a question for the ECJ to answer.
Of course.
Because if we had a turnout of only 39% and we had such long lines with such delays, one shudder to think what would have happened if the turnout had been 50%. Because significant delays took place on the day. I was on the phone from early with the director trying to resolve some of the issues. And you did have persons in those lines that turned away. So we lost 4 constituencies by less than 500 votes. Each of those constituencies have over 100 polling stations. It's just 5 persons in each of those that got frustrated and left that would have made that difference. And so it is a significant thing, and I think we have to resolve how we do this thing. I was third in line at my polling station and didn't vote until, I was there before 7, didn't vote until about 10 minutes to 8 before I completed the exercise. That's just not acceptable in my opinion. So there was a decision that was taken that persons that showed up without ID should have been placed in a separate line, and that you should have started the process from outside with an additional agent that did not
anybody
obtain
with an ID should have a vote, and that's enough to put in there. So
and
they
so
must
you
have
had,
ID.
In some cases, what appeared to be a deliberate attempt for persons to turn up without the IDs to deliberately slow down the process. And so there is a need for a proper review of the process.
Everybody must have
and
ID.
for us to ensure that the elections are indeed free and fair, and that people can express their rights.
And I'll just add that if you anticipated a larger turnout, which the poll suggested we may have had, then the planning, it seems to me, was inadequate. The planning by the EOJ must
People
have been
never in a
inadequate
line, the son of
because
bunny
in the
people, them
event,
not even want
only
to look at
39%
tent.
or
I want to
so
talk about
turned out,
prosperity.
and we had such
Well,
problems.
voted, not turned out.
Well, voted.
Yeah.
Actually voted. And we had such problems. So, and low vote turnout. So I think the planning has to be questioned, and perhaps an audit is appropriate at this time as well.
Team are at CVM TV. We've seen at rallies there are crowds and a lot of support. Even with the big gains, how do you plan to keep the base energized after the back-to-back defeats, Mr. PNP President?
After a campaign ends, there's a process of reflection, there's a process of analysis, there's a process of reconnection with our base and our supporters. And
The base
there's
still energized.
also-
The base still energized.
I think there are some reforms internally that we need to pursue as well to strengthen our overall organization. So the way in which we plan to handle the matter would be through a period of careful analysis of what took place and a recognition of where there are weaknesses that need to be strengthened, and the deliberate pursuit of changes that will strengthen those weaknesses. So, one doesn't energize the base from the start of a 5-year term of government. Energizing the base comes from the kind of process involved in campaigning. But what we need to ensure is that we stay in touch with our base, that we strengthen our constituents in divisional organizations, so that when the time comes, we're able to deliver an effective result. And we are starting now from a much stronger position than we have enjoyed over the previous 5 years. With just 14 in Parliament before, it was much more difficult. Only 14 MPs out of 63 were PNP MPs. Only 14 out of 63 PNP MPs got state resources through the Constituency Development Fund to help to do the work that they have to do. So it's moving from a very limited base in Parliament is difficult, and it required extraordinary effort to take us where we are now. With 28 seats to their 35, I mean, the situation is much more balanced, and that will enable us to build on that, to be even more effective next time around.
But you also pointed out partly that there will be engagement in the field from now, in the reviews. I believe, certainly speaking from my own constituents, from talking to others who were at yesterday's meeting, that process of engagement will be helpful, because a lot of the concern and the sense of rejection that is there comes from some of these things complaining. And I think once you're on the ground investigating, giving people an opportunity to speak and to vent some of that frustration, I think that would be part of the process of healing and engagement with them. Part of the process of healing and engagement. So I think that process will be ongoing.
Again, indulge me a couple of questions. One, given what you have described as acts of voter suppression, can you indicate whether or not the PNP has made a formal complaint about electoral fraud or irregularities to any state organ? And if so, in what constituencies? That's one. Two, can you indicate, sir, what is the projected spend for the People's National Party during this election campaign? Can you say also how was it funded and what percentage is corporate donation? And then finally, personally, Mr. Golding, is this disappointing for you? And if so, how disappointing?
Well, a foolish question.
So your
that, yeah.
first
Oh,
question was whether a formal complaint has been made to any state organ in respect to the voter suppression of which we speak. The answer to that is no. We are, as I've said, going into the field to do a survey so that we can get more tangible information rather than the indirect reports that we have been receiving. Through the reports we're receiving is really through both things like social media, but also more importantly through the campaign structures that we have. But we want to go into the field and get more, a more comprehensive survey of what plays. At that point, we can decide, where we go from here. There isn't really any state agency that is mandated to address that issue. That's one of the challenges we have. So it's that is something we'll have to consider carefully as the best way to proceed, to deal with this. Some of these things may require a strengthening of the electoral law itself, the Representation of the People's Act, which, to take into account the kind of methods and tactics that are being employed in this era relative to when that law was last amended or reviewed. Other things may just require an internal response as to how we manage that kind of process going forward. So that's my answer to your first question. Your second question was about campaign finance. Yeah. I haven't seen from our treasurer yet a final report on the level of funding raised and expended. Based on my assessment of it or knowledge of it, I would say most of the funding that we raised came from donors. Some are corporate donors, some are individual donors. And I'm very sure that they were within the overall envelope allowed by the law in terms of the limits. I can tell you that because I have a sense for the numbers, but I don't have the specifics. And the third question was about yeah, it's a mixed feeling. I feel pleased that we are on the up and up, that we have managed to double the number of MPs that we have in Parliament, that we are going to have a team in Parliament now that is going to be formidable as an opposition, given the people who won. And we have an excellent team. And the fact that we got 97,000 more votes this time than we got in 2020 is also significant as an increase. Our
PNP get
opponents got 5,000
more votes. JP get
it was a definite improvement in our performance. Disappointment at the same time that we weren't able to deliver that final,
Nobody need to answer the question because that's our
additional,
question. Right?
call it 4 that we needed to
going
just have
race
32,
to win,
which is the threshold for winning. That was disappointing. And when we look at the seats that we thought we would have won and didn't, we have to look carefully at why we weren't able to prevail there. I think that the reasons for that were more to do with factors that took place on election day itself and maybe the night before or 2 nights before, rather than the campaign as a whole. I think the campaign as a whole, we ran a pretty exemplary campaign.
Very nice campaign.
I think it was a much more active campaign than our opponents in terms of presence on the ground and meetings and rallies and the attendance at those rallies. I think our manifesto was delivered in a reasonable time so people could digest it and was well received. I think that our performance in the election debates, where most people feel that we won each of the 3 debates, was also significant and helped us along. But, we weren't able to actually cross the line first because things went on, as I said, the very end of the process, which we were not able to respond to effectively on the day. And for that, we must all take some responsibility, including me as party
What do you
president.
mean by the man said the lawyer then look over the something and say no make no sense. So what they do? What then going to
Is there
court go
somebody
lose?
determining who speaks?
So why you not complain say a man this and a man that? Why them a go carry a case in a court?
Morning,
If the
morning,
law-
gentlemen.
If the lawyer them say
What
them no
positives
sin a
can you
case.
take from the
And
campaign?
who was there at
Excuse
the
me.
counting say it no make no sense? Why are we going to stay here
Yes.
now and say
What
they should have gone
positives
court? Go do
can you
what?
take from the
Go lose the
campaign?
case?
And what are your views generally about your team, the team you put together? Okay, it's a bit disappointing to lose, obviously, but when you reflect back,
The point is, if we got caught,
when you
we can
reflect
win.
back to
If
say
the lawyer
5
them
years
say
ago,
we
when you
can't win,
came from there to where you are now,
we are going to
what
win.
positives? And secondly, what plans do you have to bolster your treasury? You're definitely a political force in this country again, and maybe perhaps the treasury angle of it will get you over the line, maybe possibly next time. But you have to have an effective treasury if you're fighting a campaign
I agree with that.
in the
We need
21st
money.
century.
More money can
So
buy
what
vote too.
do you see going forward? How do you entice, say, the business community, other people to bolster that treasury campaign?
In terms of positives,
I can't understand when they come and say PNP.
I think that we now have a
Them band said the lawyer then look at
united
it and it
party.
don't make no sense. I'm not
We
gonna
have
say
a
it should
team that
yes sir. What
is
them for
working
do?
together and
Go
has
court
worked
and lose
together
and make the
well
labor right then laugh.
throughout the campaign. I think
That don't make no
that
sense.
the organization as a whole is strong.
Yeah, but me not respect when
That's
I
not to
come
say
and
there
talk about
aren't
the man too soft
areas
and the
that
man
need
do this.
improvement.
The
There
man
are.
explained that the
But we
lawyers
did
look at it
significant training, for
and
example,
see that it
of our
don't make no
workers
sense.
over the last
With the
several
spoiled
months.
ballot, they cheat them,
And,
they
and we
share them
were
evenly themselves.
really building on the success in the
And
local
because
government
you can't
elections
really know who
of February
spoiled ballot you going to
2024,
vote for.
where we won the popular vote quite handsomely there, and we ended up with six municipal corporations and the city municipality of Portmore making 7, which is the same number as the JLP have, but we have one more division than they do. So there's been a kind of process over the 5 years of building an improvement, which I think was reflected in the 97,000 additional votes that we got and the 14 additional seats that we won. Now, going forward, you mentioned the treasury. I mean, we got, I would say, good support from the donor base that we have, corporate and individual. We were able to finance our program.
They are saying
we didn't have
up to the
sort of additional resources for deploying in the field to do the sort of things that we were up against. And that was never part of our budget. Anyway, we weren't seeking to do that. That's not a strategy that we employ. But, in terms of being able to pay our media houses for the advertising that we had booked and developing that advertising and paying our party workers, for their efforts and the paraphernalia and so on that we were, we were able to hold our own. And going forward, we will just be encouraging Jamaica to understand the importance of maintaining financial balance in how they fund political parties, because
we never spend money with the labor.
One party has excessive resources relative to the other.
We have to buy vote.
It can affect the democratic outcome of elections quite easily. So
the labor have
these
more
are
money
the sort of
and
arguments that we
impress
upon donors and we get good response for the most part. So I don't have any issue really there with the fundraising side of the campaign.
But the point from my saying apart, what if the lawyer them say then they say the grounds for go court? What them for go court?
Greetings to all at the press table. President MG, this one is for you, sir.
You think
Who
that
is
we
this?
out here
I am
Tundes
Tundes Stargate Communications. Before I get into my questions, I would just like to start on a positive.
The courtroom different from in the court.
There are some things that you initiated that changed the experience for the Rastafari community, especially with the ganja experience and all. What more than if we do, you know. But we must acknowledge when positive moves made. And so we kick off the party. So the first question. In all of what we see now, some 8-9 days after the election, was the People's National Party fully prepared? I have two more. I don't know if I have to pause and answer or I go with the other two and then.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we didn't ultimately win the election suggests that there are areas where our preparation could have been stronger. You know, I think
money on need money. That's my problem.
We have come to realize
going
through this experience is that some of the tactics that we have to manage are not normal, orthodox, in the book tactics, but are things that are being deployed quite effectively by our opponent, which we haven't yet, I think, mastered a methodology of responding to. So I think I would say
answer,
what would you regard as an orthodox
plan for match
way in
them
which
with the
campaigns
money,
are conducted and way political organization is done, we were ready. But in terms of in specific seats, which though those tactics were being deployed, our response to them was inadequate.
Yeah, that's the honest question.
In your preparation going forward, it's a little bit of small advice that you don't have to pay for. Art of war must be studied. Next question for you now, President MG.
Art of war after study.
Positive way forward, and there are aspects of your manifesto that are tangible and excellent. What plans are in place? So not to wait till 2030, but to
we can't build up war and disgrace ourselves from the public.
Much appreciated for listening. You got those?
Yeah, I mean, in response, I think that I need to actually say something about that. Our manifesto was our series of policy proposals and programs that we had intended to roll out during the first five-year term that we were in government. Those things require being in government to be rolled out. An opposition party gets no state resources to implement plans and programs. We get a modest stipend as MPs to run a constituency office, and that's it. And then there's a CDF, which is a modest sum which hasn't been adjusted for inflation for many years now, of 20 million a year, out of which 1.5 million pays an administrator. So it's 8.5 million to be spent in a constituency with residents typically exceeding 40,000 people. So, you know, I don't want to pretend that the opposition will be in a position to roll out things like the First in Family Scholarship or build 50,000 housing units at an affordable price for people, or to implement rent to own to enable persons who are currently excluded from the mortgage market to become owners of their own home, or indeed a disability fund to help persons with disabilities with $1 billion in it, and those sort of things. Those are things we want to do with reform government. What we will be able to do is individual MPs who have won will be able to pursue their own particular set of policies that they had brought to the people. You know, some of them will take time. It won't happen overnight. Resources are always an issue. And to the extent they're able to garner additional support through creative methods of fundraising and using the goodwill of people who might want to support those initiatives, that will determine how quickly they can do what they want to do. But it's going to be more on a constituency and MP level that things, you'll see things happening rather than nationally, because an opposition party is not able to, or indeed expected to, implement national policies. That's for the government of the day.
Just two more, one for Anthony Hilton and one for you, Mr. Golding. Mr. Hilton, you put forward the suggestion comparing Jamaica's electoral process to that of Guyana, which has a history now of concerns about the process, whereas here in Jamaica, we had the OAS CARICOM as well as CAFE, all suggesting that the elections were free of harassment, free of intimidation, or any other irregularities, so far as going as to commending us in terms of our conduct here and to put forward Jamaica as a model that the Caribbean can follow. Isn't that a bit out of sorts in terms of that assessment by you in terms of irregularities? And to you, Mr. Golding, your predecessors have all offered their resignations to the wider party following an election loss. Will you not do the same, or will you simply take up your post as opposition leader going into the parliament?
Let me. Well, you want to go?
No, you.
And let me say, I think the aspects. I don't think what you characterize as overstatement, notwithstanding anything that has been said by CAFE or any other organization that.
Unless we're hypocrite in Jamaica, a long time we
EU
know.
focus, and I'd urge you, and I think you have read the EU report. And if you have, then you'll see that they commented on some other aspects of it, much of which we saw in full force here in Jamaica. The issue that we believe needs to be addressed as an urgent matter is the whole issue of the advertising and promotion before and during the campaign with excessive state resources. And that aspect of it and others were specifically commented on. So my advice is that whatever the specific limitations or the concerns that the OAS or other monitoring group didn't address, the EU's report, I believe, was much broad-based and some of it very relevant to Jamaica.
If I may add something to that before the leader answers the next question. I think we've been very responsible as a party. I think we've been very responsible. Nationwide carried a story that CAFE said that 21% of the persons at the polling station at 5 o'clock were not allowed to vote. We could easily have created a stir with that to suggest that those persons would have voted for us and it would have changed the outcome of the elections. We didn't. We waited for good information, right? For additional information, and we have seen where over the last 2 days, the ECG has refuted what was carried as to what CAFE had said, and then since that, CAFE today in the paper is clarified that did not actually take place. So I believe the comment that was made as well was not necessarily comparing the electoral systems in the two countries, but about the report that came out of the election. So I don't know how you got to the point of saying he was comparing the two electoral systems. He was speaking to the report that came out and said that there are similarities, that we have seen the same thing here. CAFE, CARICOM and other OAS, other persons that came here would not have been out in the field to see that $100,000 was offered to an indoor agent not to work, or offered to a cluster manager to give me the canvas of this party. They would not have seen that. They would not have seen what took place in the field. They would have been at the polling station, right? They would not have seen the night before that somebody was offered money to dip their finger in ink and therefore can't show up to the polling station. They would not have seen where we saw some persons, MPs, trying to separate people into lines as to who we are going to vote for, totally inappropriate, right? From a high-ranking member of the Jamaica Labour Party. So the issues that we are bringing forward here are things that we have contemplated on, we've heard about, and not just anecdotal things, but things that we can say, these based on the reports that we've gotten, and there's additional work to do, but there is sufficient evidence to speak to it at this point to suggest that there was indeed an attempt to suppress the votes. Remember that we did run a campaign, where the last credible poll that came up before the election had us ahead by 3 percentage points, right? Not like the one from Nationwide that said we're 13 points behind. That was totally fraudulent, right? And if you look at the outcome of the election, it was within 1%, as in the the popular vote. So it was within that margin of error. And that is after all the suppression that took place by the Labour Party and the delayed voting by the ECJ that caused persons to leave the polling station and not being able to participate.
In relation to, well, first of all, I'm not aware of any historic precedent of which you speak. You know, there have been instances where party leaders have offered their resignation. There have been instances where they haven't, to my knowledge. I serve at the pleasure of the party, and you know, I'm happy to continue to serve in the capacity as leader for as long as the party wants me to.
Because some of like we want to ignore
thus far, all of the MPs who have been elected, all 28, other than one who's overseas traveling, have signed a letter confirming that they have confidence in me and want me to be the leader of the opposition. And that's where it is right now.
If I may add again, if I may just add something to that. I want for us not to mislead the public with some of the statements. You know, there are some things that are being said in the public space that are just not true. Andrew Holness was defeated by Portia Simpson Miller in 2011. It seems persons have forgotten that.
No, they forget
he did not resign, nor did he offer any resignation.
True. I said
he stayed there. He did not even make public the appraisal committee report that was done. Right? 10 of the 21 MPs signed a no confidence in him. He's the one that saved himself with his casting vote. I also hear persons saying that it's historic, unprecedented, this third term. When they say one complain about the PNP being in office for 18 years, the PNP has won 4 consecutive elections in Jamaica. So what is historic? It's historic for the JLP that they have won 3 elections. It's not historic for Jamaica. PJ Patterson won in 93, 97 and 2002. Why do we continue to mislead the public in this vulgar manner?
That's true. Because then a 4-term ruin for you.
Mark, I just heard what you said. It's one thing to be endorsed by the party and have the party's confidence. But do you yourself, do you want to lead the party? And then secondly, I'd like to follow up and saying, you don't really want to, as a party, enter another period of fractiousness, intimacy, warfare that splinters the party. I think you've been an MP since 2007. 2017, beg your pardon. You brought the party back. It seems united. You fell short. You've doubled your seats. I mean, that I think will go down in history. But do you want to lead the charge? It's all very well being endorsed. You seem to have a good support team around you. But in your heart of hearts, do you want to lead the charge going forward? And secondly, I'd say that you seem to have a deep bench, both in the lower house. What are your plans for the upper house? A lot of bright people around, a lot of people who can take positions. How do you want to lead them and how do you want to deploy it?
Well, I'm not going to comment on the composition of the Senate, which is, you know, you'll hear more very shortly on that. In terms of my own personal aspirations, Al, you know, I feel a continued commitment to my country, you know, Jamaica, where I was born and where I've lived all of my life other than when I was studying abroad, and which has been very good to me, and which my parents, you know, instilled in me a sense of service to the people of Jamaica. And I am willing to continue and plan to continue to serve my country through the political process as leader of the People's National Party, moving ahead, going forward from the significant achievements that we have managed to garner in these elections to a victorious result next time round. And as I said, I serve at the will of the party.
Genuine, man.
So as long as the party has confidence in me.
If you are going to type in, but you think this and think that, because man, they're not going to, we are going to...
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope it was informative and have a great day.
On a mind and stable, on a real. On a real. I'm going to tell you the truth what God love, on a real. If the man came out and said the lawyers, and we know that when PNP got caught, they're not alone. And they came out and said the lawyers has looked, the lawyers that were there at the counting, the lawyers look at all the possibilities and say, well, we're not going to make any result different in the court. And Una going to come and say, Una vex for that? Una not real? Una not real, man. Una not real. Una not real. Una not real. We know all what happened on the day and we never come out on top. And in order we know, but you have to go to court, go show the judge, you know. All the way we say. And if you say, Una was not really support the party, because the leader now come if you can act like him a hooligan like the other side. Una go say, Una no bother with this no more, Una go this, Una go and go on a business, man. Go and go on a business.
Exactly.
Una go and go on a business, man. Una real, man. Una not committed to how many things we do in our life and it fail we. And we try again. How many things? How many things in our personal life, issues, business, all of that we plan and in a workout and we have to make it go and just live with life from day to day. And I will come here this morning on my platform, come talk nonsense. Huh? I don't want me support that. If they sit down and they look and they say don't make no sense. It don't make no sense.
But Auntie Jen, are you hearing me?
Yes, my area.
Yeah, Auntie Jen, I can say something. Yes, we have lost the election, but guess what? Don't pay those people any mind because I 100% think that we, the PNP, run a better campaign than the Labour right. They own the outspot smart us because they had the money.
But
we won all 3 debates. We were on the ground moving. We were energized.
Yeah, man. Go on, man.
And for any PNP who claim their comrade, any second thought about Mark Golding leading, they just need to go to hell because we had all the energy. Even Cliff Hughes himself said it like 2 weeks ago. What happened to the JLP? They are not. It's like they give up and they're defeated. And them just beat us with the money. And that's all it is. And then
them beat we with the vote buying. Them beat we to the vote buying.
Yeah, exactly. And
we know that. I don't know we don't want the man to come out here and act like him an animal. The man said them view. Look how long they take. When the believe said the man, them would sit down and look at all the possibility. Him say in West Rural St. Andrew, there may be a case coming out of that, but him never got in depth because you can't bring out everything. You understand? Make we see that, exactly. Make we just settle ourselves now. When I about, be done with politics. Them this and that. When they want them come out here consent. And when we got court and lose and the Labour right, then laugh now.
Alright, I want to tell you
something. Disappointment, man. I don't disappointment. I expect that.
No. Auntie, listen. Auntie Jen, don't even pay them. Don't even pay those non-say any man because who to tell if they are not just Labour right and they're pretending as like they're PNP. I can tell you, for example, my vote is in Central Kingston. All of my family live in Central Kingston. Although I am in the state. And just a quick point.
Yeah.
They say in Central Kingston that damn boy Lawrence Rowe, he buy vote like crazy.
We hear about it.
He buy vote like crazy. And I'm not making up any story.
You're not making up
because my family brought Lawrence Rowe into politics. My auntie brought Lawrence Rowe into politics at the highest level. And right now, them and him don't even on good terms because he bought vote. He bought a
right,
lot
so in
of
illegal,
vote.
but we have to have the evidence we can go to court, go show so them buy the vote. And none of we don't take no picture of it. And we don't have to forgive them for we have a judge, yes, we hear that they buy vote. Where is the evidence?
Yeah, exactly.
I saw it with my eyes, but did I take any evidence? Me can't go in there go say me see. Oh, no, stop it, man. I don't like when someone not typing and comment. I don't really get me upset.
1 minute. The evidence that we can use is in the Prime Minister's seat, where we know that Buchanan was leading all the way until 18 boxes. Buchanan was beating him. So you mean to tell me, say, a quick turnaround with 18 boxes?
All right, hear what happened now. Hear what happened, and it's true. I'm going to tell you the truth with the Prime Minister. See, And if we go back to all of the other elections, you see, we are strong down in the Mullines Road area and those areas. But when we reach out to the Seaveright Garden upward, they always ahead of us. And that's where the vote comes in. You don't believe that the PNP look at it? The PNP look at it and they are saying we are not going to, there's no case to take to court. Where the hell do you want people to do?
Well, but I hear your point with that antigen, but that is very hard.
Yeah, but
to
when I
believe
feel,
because-
I mean, I like when I type on my channel
No,
against
no,
my party.
no,
I mean,
no,
I
no.
like
What I
it.
say-
I
what
mean,
I
I
say-
like it. All I make a address a situation on YouTube. I never expect that from una contact say. Una done with the party, and una this or una that. Me not like when me so una type and me tell una the truth to una face and me not go behind una back and tell una. Because I what una type on the comment.
Those are
And I don't like it.
Those are labor rights. Hello? Those are labor rights. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning, Antigen.
Good morning, Richard.
First and foremost, I am a PMP. I am a diehard PMP. First and foremost, I want to give a big congrats to our leader, Mr. Mark Gordon.
Yes.
And I want to give thanks to all the hard-working PMP over the time of our campaign.
Exactly.
And everything.
Right.
God is in the midst of everything, and what happened, let it happen. God sees what happened. He knows. He sees our hard work, our tireless night, days, and our President, Mr. Mark Gordon. He had well energetic, he had well worked in every nook and crevice and cranny of Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I want to give him all the surplus and all the MPs for the PNP that won that we could come up with 28 seats.
We improve our votes from 2020 more than the GLP.
Right, we fought a
No, go
well
ahead, man.
fight, and congrats and God bless everyone that comes out and vote. Leave those unscrupulous people, let them go, and all who gonna backbite, they weren't PNP, they were bandwagons, right? And
Bandwagon them for true.
Mr. Mark, don't let no one try.
Bandwagon them for true. But can't believe, man.
All I got to say, all we have to do is go back to the
If the
drawing
legal
board,
mind
and
says
God
something,
is in the
on
midst.
have legal mind, on have experience in a legal mind, they
You
know.
understand?
On have a man like
God is in
Dayton
the
Campbell.
midst,
On believe Dayton Campbell not gonna sit,
Can
which
tell
part
us,
I
we
make it
well
pass
work,
by.
we well fighting. We
Huh?
don't have no money. I will go
Come
through
on now, man. Talk make the words like say we party are foolish, so we not understand. Me not like that.
dictatorship. So what? Listen, Antigen, what's happened? Our election were run under dictatorship. People see that, and if we did have tried to fight, they would even bring war against us. So we still give God thanks for His grace and His mercy and the great victory we got.
All right. I hear one man ask me said to Golden, what are we going to do with our treasury? And that was the first thing came out of me after the election. When me see what going, we better hop in here and realize that this is the reality of life. Whether you want legal or illegal, if I that them I don't win, you're going to match them.
No. Because nobody no longer have to say the country with the election on a dictatorship. And then there is some rubbish in the electoral office that needs to put together. That's where the biasness is. Because all those dead people,
Exactly.
all those people that on the voters should extract them don't come up. That's where they are the homework, and we don't have the power to do it because they are the one in power. Okay? So we have to just give God thanks and praise.
We come out here, go there, man. We come out here. We did have a seasoned politician in there in 2020. And instead of win one, he lose every strike in one we push a left game. So none bother with it.
Because you know what?
No, pay them any mind.
Our God not sleep, you know. Our God not sleep, and God is
Auntie Ben. Auntie Jen, can you mute this person? God bless. Just mute her. Just mute her.
Me take her off. Me block she already.
Yeah, man, just mute her. Yeah. Okay, she's just a distractor. But Auntie Jen, all I'm saying to you, don't make all of these people we're here telling you, oh, whatever, and discourage them.
No, what hurt me, man, is that because they come, yeah. We sit down and we listen. That's what we need to learn. Listen,
no,
right?
There was never
And the man is saying our lawyers have looked into it and then have sufficient evidence to take it to the court. And we're not going to talk about this again and that. What do you mean for do? Carry it court without sufficient evidence and lose the case. And we look like a laughing stock again. For first thing, labor right again.
Something. You see, in my constituency,
Yeah.
we never have no money. And trust me, the labor right, them have the money, waka, them all that trade power. That we never watch them. You know what we do on Northeast St. Elizabeth? We come together and put hands and shoulder together and work with the MP mistress. And decide so we are take back Northeast because free it. I'm not telling you the truth, man, listen to me. First, Northeast St. Elizabeth, when them get it the last election, when Stoley get it, I'm going to tell you this. Me was a part of it. But I'm not biased. Me was a part of it. Raymond Price was our MP. And what happened? Raymond Price come to Northeast St. Elizabeth and he worked hard. He worked from nook and cranny to every lane and valley. And listen what happened.
Yeah.
When we talk to them and let them know, we need Raymond Price to stand on the ground, then push him out and put in a man here, red man, and red man tell him same no one no election, no politics. I and 5 of my friends who is Chambers PNP, we come together and split the PNP down as Northeast St. Elizabeth and say, all right, we are going to give them to Patterson, where we wear white shirts with blue writing. And slowly, so I go and see amount of PNP will come over because them never want to give a want to Raymond Price. Because put Raymond, now tell me this, Raymond Price just come on Northeast St. Elizabeth and him do more work on Northeast St. Elizabeth more than what Roger Clark do down there. God no. Listen, you know, Raymond Price in the Roses Valley School, him put in the water system, him go to Roger Clark High School, him put in 8 classrooms. Him go Bogalia school, him put in a basic school. Him fix the school, him put in a sidewalk. Him do 4 road in a book. Him go a school field, him do a school. In the Balaclava, he did a mini hospital that people have to go to Balaclava, Mandeville, Balaclava, Balaclava, and put a mini hospital. Him do the Balaclava Primary School. Him do Santa Cruz Mini Hospital, that at the same time turn a mini hospital. Him do a school feeding program. And they move him on just through the PNP, them know we love hands out, and Raymond Price never deal with hands out. He might do something for me, my pitney, everybody can come benefit off. And the delegate them fight against the man and run him away. You understand? So through that we say, we split the team. And we give to Mr. Patterson, so this is what go and just come over and say, I work with as PNP. And when him see amount of people, him take them and go switch to labor right. So me look past all and tell him, say, yeah, hear me? Them people that you get to win Northeast St. Elizabeth, they are not labor right, they are PNP. I just chew them never settle the board through it. And we got to back with people and turn back to PNP. I don't see how you will win back with see down there. Just win it. I will just Northeast St. Elizabeth will never, I could never go back to labor right as long as we live. Can't tell anybody that. And the money we use unity and strength with the council.
True, you know, that's another thing we can beat the money, you know, is unity, you know.
What do you mean? I hate to use an artist with the council and Champion Myers, Stephen Fisher, Donovan Pagan, and Maurice. And we come together and pull hand and strength together and decide so we don't want no slowly down there. And we just step out hard and look here, we work till we have this night. And we did it and we do it. And we give congratulations to the people of Northeast St. Elizabeth. We give thumbs up to Jess. And she is our MP and the first female MP we have. And we are dead with her because she now left front down there again. That now tell them. We Jamaicans, you know, we too licky about money. And money we make we lose the soul and we life and we heart.
But may I tell you the truth still, you know, are some big money Lego still, you know.
Yeah, I know. And what happened? Me not go sorry, but you see the Labour right Prime Minister Andrew, a dictatorship and banishing that was on election. And
all right, Tamika, let me hear what you said, Tamika.
Yes. Good day, comrades. Good day, everyone on the platform.
Yeah.
What I know for sure, it's the first I ever see an election team, and I see a press conference comes out, and the press conference has delivered very well.
Very well.
And I must give Mark Golding thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Campbell,
very well. Decent and in order.
Young man, thumbs up. And the reason why I can say that they were brave and courageous after a defeat to come with a press conference to let the public know people from the diaspora even know that the election wasn't fair. And Mark Golden is no idiot.
I'm not an
There's
idiot.
no way you can battle in a court without evidence.
Evidence.
You will be looking stupid
You're gonna look
and
stupid.
foolish.
You're gonna look stupid.
You understand me? If you notice the one that they said they are going to go to the court with,
Exactly.
the one that is obviously
And they have the evidence. Because we can't take what we see on social media can't go court, you know.
right.
And I think that's why a lot of people are lose it. So because it's on social media, that can't stand in a court because you have to go find from the root. Like when they come out and say, the van a run away with the box them up a Bobby man to kill, right? You think that can't go in a court go stand? The judge, the lawyer for the other side are gonna say that was not no box never in there. Where the box where you find come out of the vehicle for sure the judge.
True, mommy. That's the substantial evidence.
That's the evidence, you know. So having a video run with somebody, so some video them never must true. And the defense lawyer I got dismiss that.
I don't know as a promotional they see them a carry a court, you know. But you know what who see it means if go a court, Stephen McGregor see it, if you go a court. And that's the one who have to go a court.
They still need evidence. They still need evidence. Because what Mark is saying, the lawyers that were there at the counting. So anybody for blame at the lawyer were there at the counting. The PNP liar.
Exactly. You know what? Sorry, excuse me. You know what happened to my polling station down Northeast St. Petersburg School? When I look down there Wednesday election, all the laborers in my constituency were
Perry, come off from my channel and go and go teach your class. Please, go and go teach your class. And I make you follow up for it. Please go and go teach your class.
Election, and me get mad and make them know, say, in front of the police, them, I go pull on out Thailand for no vote already. I make my PNP people, you know, late, I make sure them appeal and say, it's one snare line, then can't do election, but the polling station pound. So stand up, and when the police say, may I deal with the right to pull up for me and say, all right, now situation I assure you, make your people them vote. And give thumbs up to them police from Balaclava, because they are very fair. And them see what was going on. And I decided to never take the crap down there with them.
People like you, they need at the polling station them.
I mean, I tell the neighbor them, say, look at me, I'm pulling out Thailand from the vote already. I mean, my PNP people, them vote. It's too tight to
Mark did well, Nubian, Lorna, Vivek. The man do well, and we can't come out here and say we are comrade and we are typing nonsense. I don't like it. It look like when I see me up on the platform, I say, I'm a different type of comrade. You know? Me support. You say me in a relationship, that the man now say I walk and watch me, you know, I commit to it, you know. I never keep two men in my life on the day I born yet. I have other relationship, but when me one done, I have other one. But I never have to run an eye between two persons yet. And that's me. You say me say a PNP me I support, or the PNP me I support. You say me I go to church and that me I support, and that me I support. Me commit to when me support.
Nice.
So whether win, lose or draw, and that me support.
We are still PNP, and all we need to do, work with Mr. Golden, and we go back to the drawing board, because right now 5 years coming like just 2 weeks. Believe me,
them I will call it, hold on, hear me good here. Hear me now?
If you notice, you hear what he said clearly. He said it's not gonna wait until it's getting close to the election to work on it.
Alright, here what happened.
On it from
We are going to have, hold on, don't listen me good this morning. Election I will call before the next 5 years. What going to happen at the parliament is that Andrew not going to want to work with the clusterphobia with the opposition. Because them are going to block him to everything where he want to put out. Because if you have 3/4 at the parliament for join him, that not going to easable. Unless there's something very substantial and the opposition will say yes. But you see, I like the reform for turning a republic. We are one of the biggest main problems for Andrew Holness right now. Him now going to go through with that. That's why them not celebrate and them silent. A lot of other things. The other things.
No, I'm telling you something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Enough people are talking this right now. All I liberate them and the PNP we are talking. But one question I want to ask them, where did Andrew Holness born and he was born in Goshen Center. That's where his dad lives right now and his sister. My friend was with his sister. Even,
but you know, say him not paying father. You notice that man don't pay father no mind though.
Yeah, Mr. Holness not talk to him. Mr. Holness lives at Goshen right now, Goshen Center. Andrew go to Goshen all day school before mother can cause pressure. And not even a thing of paint him down by the school. Believe me. Yeah.
But you know the reason why the labor rights them are sad, especially Andrew Holness them. You know in time Ratsy pies nanin just a eating. Kind of know anything can do better. That is it with Andrew Holness. Right now, they are so defeated in a sense where they can't celebrate. For them celebration can't come to. Because if they do celebrate deep down, they can't be happy because they know that the opposition team is going to be strong. Nothing will pass them.
Good day, Ian.
Could have my father, and my father come here, same son of Prime Minister, no love me. And him father said that him holding on from him. Come on. Something must wrong.
But question,
Leo Best, send me an invite.
Isn't his father PNP?
Yeah, and him father said that him
send me an invite, because I can't add you.
Let him hold him down from him. They're from St. Elizabeth, Goshen. One of his sisters live in Leeds. She voted for PNP, she voted for Jess. Tasha, yeah. Him not even look around for a little lane where him come to rally and go out where him come from. Not even in school, the man never go and pastor and tell him teacher them thanks or nothing. What kind of man that? The man here in Jamaica, I don't know what happened, but one thing I will tell him I leave him with, God is in the vessel. Remember, God is in the vessel and the same God of morning is the same God of evening. That's all I have to tell him and God is watching him.
To me, I not care the body one. I still strongly believe that we win the election. I believe that we win the election because we had all the momentum. We have all the base cover.
Well, people on this platform, whether win, draw, or lose, if you cut me, I know red blood you go see, orange blood you go see. Me orange cover from head to foot, and me can tell any labor right this, and me talk to tell a lot of them. If me know say you're labor right, and me identify say you're labor right, and me know say you vote for labor right, if me see say you just suffer, me can help you. Trust me, I rather pray for that sin there. Like how David went to Bathsheba wife, and go ahead with her and turn around pray for his sin. Me serious part up to my life. No jail can get nothing from me.
I'm going to look $50,000 give for today. I'm going to take out my passport picture, everything. I say, you know what? Now I look out and go out to Canada. You know. But when I look back on him, I say, I now run left my country, please, and do all this. Now I tell you, and do my work from the PNP because election.
No matter what, all on the little point, all on the little make I answer them over YouTube. This is what me say, so anytime we not go talk, we make sure what me say. I not care, you know. I not care. I am saying the PNP came out and hold a press conference. We know that the whole trickery we're going in is something. Right? And we upset over it. We were looking forward to see them come out and say, well, them are going to carry Central Kingston, them are going to carry this and them are going to carry that for magisterial recount. The party leader come out and they said, the lawyers look at it and said they don't see any grounds in which we are going to be successful to carry it to the court, except for one where them look and in West Central St. Andrew, and that's where it is. Everybody, Pat Bex, Mr. Perry Bex, PNP not ready yet, PNP not this, PNP not that, and me feel bad over when me say not type in a comment, because me say, if the party leader come out and I say, this is what we find. We have able lawyers in a PNP, and we're going to get upset by our party and say we support our party and a type make it all world and say well, we are type about our party. Me not support that. And me I tell you that tone of, me I tell you that tone of face. Me not go behind on the back go talk about it. And if you don't want to offend over what me say, I saw me offend over what on the right. And that's it.
My sister, Leo here. Let me tell you something. I agree with you 100%. This is for election. Alright, me also dip on TikTok like 90% of the time when we can afford for the money. See? This is for an election. And shame.
And I feel defeat because we win the election. But you see the feedback when I get from a lot of comrades, believe me.
I never say you said it. I said the argument between you and Mr. Perry on the type in a comment. And that me I talk about.
Me say to them, me say some information we out here and I put out and I throw back some blow at through same party.
Yeah, it can't right.
And something like that.
I liberate them on the talk for talk. I'm gonna go in, man.
Exchange number with each other and take it off a TikTok.
Even if them message me in the WhatsApp, because they know me and them can talk in the WhatsApp. I will say, alright. So because I say it publicly where everybody see it, me I rebuke you publicly if you not vex with me.
Look, I'm telling you something. When you see all the labor right, they must have labor right and vote for labor right and them need that. I will tell you one thing with them don't know. Them don't know nothing about shame and disgrace. Because there's no way we can have a leader in our party where there is so much corruption, our bare-faced stiffness, and lack of integrity, and we are come pick him up. But that means, me tell you about Jamaicans, we are petty thief and we love petty thief. And we like come up things on a white sheet. That way. Them have no shame, no ambition, and no that with them.
Me go and say this to Leo this morning, and whosoever can see this through with me and agree with me, then we welcome you. We lost the leadership in Jamaica. Then we don't last the election because we gave a lot of momentum on the strength we have in the parliament scene. Me personally, Leo, glad to say a lot of these labor rights we didn't see. You know why? I'm going to explain to you. Zin. One of them on the investigation, Zin. If they may lose, and when the pressure come down from the Integrity Commission, Zin, then we don't have the choice and then going to buy a ticket and leave out of Jamaica, Zin. Now they're sitting in a parliament back as an MP. There's no way they can run go because the whole Integrity Commission thing, trash out yet. Along with Mr. Honest, a lot of them going to go prison. Me sure. You look towards it.
That's true, it's coming. It's coming, my brother. It's coming. And you see, Maria, you know that.
And that is the reason why I keep telling people, God don't share food in dirty plate.
Right?
God knows that the Andrew Holness administration then corrupt and they are doing a lot of things and they sweep it under the carpet. And for Mark Golding come in and they try to rectify things as the Prime Minister, trust me, it'll go
I'm not telling you something too. I'm telling you this too. You see the boy, a man named Gospel, I name Electoral office, you want to hang.
Me say, I don't know if I want to see the yesterday headline.
Him bias. That's what you say. Him, they're going to show him a side. You know what? The kid was a stroke when I leave this sickness in Jamaica.
You see the headline? No, I want to see the headline, the cleaner headline yesterday.
No, I didn't look at the cleaner.
All right, don't look at the headline.
All right, Carol, good day.
I think the Integrity Commission is ready right now because everybody is so focused on the election and they may not do what they might do. I think yesterday the headline when we say come out, they're ready right now. And Mr. Holness, look out, trouble come on your foot. Me I tell you that.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
That brother there with the electoral office near Glasgow, he is a corruption. And I don't know if this guy, but you see him, tell him.
We never walk up your family day, me by Mr. Perry. So we have to contact about say a cultish platform me have. You should like how you so deep in our spirit, you should know that long time if me a cult. You shouldn't know now. I me a rebuke, I mean not clear what you want to say. Me say if you not PNP, and because the leader come out and say one want here, on not type in, but on not done, on not this, on not that. And me say me never like it. And that me say, I mean not take back what me say. Me not take back what me say.
They man not come ready. PNP ever stand strong.
Because me say why you never come and say what I say and I type it in the comment.
Not tell enough of them nothing.
Right?
Not that lie then they tell.
So now that you come and talk about my channel is a call.
Fall with it. Like if you are PNP,
you should I know some me a call. Why you know you know?
You have to believe. You have to believe. Have a reason why you believe. And nobody's supposed to convert you to be a PNP or a JLP. You must have your reason why.
Those people see how long them take to name their manifesto.
and talk about them name it arbitrary. And me was the man that named it for them, the 15 of them manifesto, And look here, when me name it for TikTok, at 28,000 views, me get pan it, then 14,000. When me go say, I lift the people, them lift me up because them never know, say me I memorize everything in my head. But I was recording them down. So let them see, man. Me the who say something earlier and say we're going to have election before 5 years. Me guarantee that you know what we're going to cause that election. We're going to have a whole heap of by election thing. And you see the minute we end up with more seats more than them, then automatically we're going to have our election. Of course it is.
We're gonna have election soon. May I support my listen where me I look at. Me can't see through on son a real comrade and I support the PNP. And the comment they want to type in this morning. And I make know so I not appreciate it, I not like it. And if that make me be a cult, me I go be a cult.
Me stay away from TikTok for the day because a lot of things that me come out as some comrade mode when me not supposed to hear that. Comrade up on platform and talk about who Mark Golding, we don't know if we're going to use Mark Golding. Oh, how come if you say that? Look what Mark Golding do for party. Who else do have to fit for you? Them better go. Them say man brilliant.
And that's the problem with we're too divided. We're too divided. And that's the problem.
He pass chi election.
Me as all of the fourth term come and the PNP lose, me a PNP.
Me still a PNP. Me say if he pass chi election, me see the People National Party then somebody supported them and somebody candidate they make the same mistake 3 times. You see, anytime they run and lose, they remove themselves from the seat. You need to stay, get to know the people them. Get us some more people on the one them where you get them confident already, and then you become strong. When you knew nobody don't know you. Hey, when you know what sit down and see. Me have a pastor man from United States. And she come and come married to me. She sent me some money over there. And she start talk against my party. And look for me and tell me say, I hope when me come back for St. Elizabeth, maybe a millionaire. You know me look for her and tell her straight. Me tell her, say she want me buy back her money. In a dollars, send come here, me can't do it. And me tell her, don't call me back. And me let me block her from my phone. But look here, me don't want them come blasting against my leader. That one tell them. Are you blasting against my leader? You're blasting against me. You're blasting against my country. One thing I ask her, I say, listen, does Trump and Kamala Harris run the election the other day? Me say, who you vote? You man say no like Kamala Harris, that Trump seen like. Me say, why you don't like Kamala Harris? Say she a black woman. She used to go against black people. And you know so that woman leave Jamaica from 7 years old and she's a black woman. She a wicked, me block her from my phone, brother. Anytime we them talk against my leader, Mark Golding, remember me tell you I go against every PNP in Jamaica and not with nobody we have a backbite to party. Right, there's something there.
We can backbite, but if we have an issue, we talk it privately. You understand what I say? We talk about it privately.
What I know for sure, sometimes my grandmother always says sometimes your things might burn you or hurt you, but you keep it in your belly bottom.
Yes.
Because when time you let it out, you make the enemies them run with things and it go against you. I go against you.
Comrade, all of us going into this election as PNP with
the Labour write them out. Remember, Labour write them out one line. I feel we platform them out, watch and listen to everything where we are saying doing. They not go pan for them own,
Brother, when you say if our leader is corrupt like them and we lose the election, Jesus Christ, God Almighty, we couldn't look for TikTok. And we couldn't watch TV and radio. Let me tell you something. And this is the way I look at it. Everyone we go in on this election be confident.
Thank you,
we never know say we could have lose an election in Jamaica. The momentum we have seen. But me personally don't feel like we lose. Me don't feel like we lose. 2 reasons. Me know private banks are thief then thief and we come out stronger than the way we go in the election. So that means you don't lose. Brother, we don't lose election. You don't have to farm government in this stronger country. Southeast St. Elizabeth, that's along Miranda. Definitely Miranda winning seat down there. And Fried Green fighter. And with the money and Fried Green restaurant, because watch it. It's down to the people. Me go down there in the August to play cricket. And the people them we there with some good Labour right come there. And the people them say from Fried Green win. And one time they never see
Down at Brompton, St. Elizabeth.
All right.
And lead him out one night time, pull him. And the
All right.
boys start deal with down there.
Me go ask you.
And the next thing for sure is a JLP really lose the election. You notice what Andrew do? Him pay off the man in a must pay off the man in a EOJ for rig for him seat in a film favor. So we don't lose. We don't lose.
Hold on, quiet the PNP. Me ask you one question. Don't them say that on election days you're not supposed to see an MP or a councillor at the polling station or no coloured clothes represent a party. Don't think them come with a rule, eh?
Yeah, them not supposed to be
when
there.
Andrew Wall start around a Waterhouse election, you know how much police him have over 30 police vehicles at polling station. He go back over Kent, I see him thing about the people them. What were he doing there as a prime minister leader if he have integrity in himself? And he's not supposed to do that. And then the police them come with blood force and about the people them and a spray tear gas on them something. The people them not gonna fight the police them because them not want them kill them. Look here, I'm telling you, dictatorship him take on election. Badness. That me I tell you now, some people are laugh and feel like a good sitting. At nasty prime minister we have. And we don't know ourselves. And that is it.
And that's all you're saying. And that's all you're saying. And that's all you say, Mr. Perry. And that's all you type in the comments. Scroll back up and go look at all I comment them where you make. If you think so, that's why me upset. And I can talk about PNP now, keep again, all that something. You want me sit down and make it. You are type then something and me see you type it, understand? You don't really know who me, you know? I am that. I'm not afraid for nobody to tell them the truth and tell you how me feel. All if you just feed me out of your pot, me I go tell you, as a me stay. Come in and expect that from you, none attack. If you have an issue, you know, so you can call me on WhatsApp and me and you talk. So you shouldn't be the one where I come type that in the comment.
And Jen, now tell about that person there.
And Jen, the truth is the truth. And this is it with a lot of people. Too naive. Anytime you be too naive with people, they feel say they can lead you on a string like puppet. So my time you have to put people in a them place and make them know say, listen, me see and me hear what you stand for and me now go join with you. And not until we say wrong is wrong and right is right and stop the use might the beat right before we are going to reach somewhere in this world. Too much times people hug up the wrong and say yes are the right and give the people them who right wrong.
Yeah, because when they come and when I type in make it look like the party leader, I discredit the party leader.
I want to ask them for, please. Now ask all the comments.
What me I say now? The party leader come out and attack and then on attack in a negative way. I disrespect that.
We're not going to sit down and relax and go sit down and wait till the election come. If we still up on the ground, if we still push out, meet up with the people, keep them intact, and make them a suit fee. And when we MP them, not nothing to give them. Drive to the community and make them run them because that is one of the things. The people are say them now see with till election time. We want them to see right round. That means we still have the favor and we still in our mood and we not keep it boring.
And another thing I must do. Hear me. Good afternoon, Gwen. I guess I assume make it up. Another thing I must do in the constituency them. You see the old people them want to know in the constituency want to go for them when election time. When an election time every now and then on if I put one little package together. I'm going to drop it off, give them. I'm going to wait till election time. And start build that thing on the ground. So when Labour right come with their money, then people then are going to remember say, oh no, they see before election, you know.
Right, that's true. So true, Auntie.
So go ahead, Gwendolyn. Let me hear what you have to say.
Yes, good afternoon. Auntie Jen, you know, say that Mark Golden is a decent person. He's not a giver, but he's a decent person. I believe I understand him and I'm going with him. I mean, I have nothing bad to say. See them same come ready to talk now, say so and so them a type in at them same one vote him out for the money. Them same one take money and don't go and vote.
That's true.
A lot of them.
They're a bandwagonists.
Yes. And then you know what happened now? When the PNP lose, hear them, Lord have mercy, we losing. And me know plenty of them would don't go out go vote, don't go down at the polling station. That mean they get money.
That's true again. That's true. Because me know right now, me know a lady and her 3 sons and her daughter, them don't vote. And me tell them some alien in Jamaica, they shouldn't even have an ID.
Because them get money not to go there. And then now, when we lose now, them same one and say everything. Why them not go stop them? The illegal voting and what was going on. Why they not help do that?
So Gwen, the question I really want to ask is if Mark Golding then looking at this case. Remember, Mark Golding was like a lawyer, you know. I then look at this case and she said, you know, make no sense to go to court and go in a court and stand up and look like a fool.
Exactly.
How that would I sit with you know?
Richard, it's not a matter. It don't make any sense, you know. It make perfect sense to take it in court, but it is the evidence.
Right.
But that's what him beating
that they need to put in court. You have to catch JLP them pan live tape camera. So when the judge call up the court now, call up the case, you have the tape can play and show say John Brown for the JLP where really go by mass term vote from him. That is the evidence what he is talking about. You need to argue in a court.
Yes, if Andrew will see and Julie will see, what they can use and stand against them in a court, you know, and the voters' oppression when they use against the people, you know. And they have to go try enough. They say, listen, me, only buy people from phone, and people have to come in to come and say yes. Come in as witnesses, say, we in a line before 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock, you lock off it, and do some period the idea, they stop the people.
The man, upon the video, when me, and in all fairness, and hear me, in all fairness, the video when me see with Andrew Oles down at polling station, him never did go there and stop nobody. The one with the wife now, she got there and pull away barrier and all them something. She's the one at the aggressor.
Yeah, that's the bully. She the bully. And upper Kentire to upper Papin, some nastiness going away. Now I tell you, say, that's what I even know. When the police them, I pepper spray people, I police them because I be arranged it up. I ask somebody that I see that, I never call me and video it. You can't say police them, I deal with the people. And I said to me, they say, Peme, move from there before them kill you. Me say that to my nephew. And I'm partners. And then after that, my friend called me, one girl called me at house and I said, Charlie, look there. And then some say Andrew, but I never see my bad up nobody. Believe me, too God, I go tell. But the police, them, they were dealing with the people, them. Me are wicked around there. Like somebody dead, the people, them, in a polling station. But the question I have, Juliet Wallace a candidate. Why she was there, I try to help the police there with barrier. And she's a candidate.
Because them have the angle, and we have the blade. That is why.
Every time this woman show up nowhere, she try to bully people. She do it in a parliament, she do it out in the street. But anyway, all we go we lose election and we win back, we see them. But the greatest thing when me feel sweet for like an anthem is the hooligan from over Portland where I start beat. Almighty God, Mr. God, you are rewarded prayer. I love that. You trust me for a master God. That the woman there, hooty peck. I mean, no, God never sleep. God never will result. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I think they should bring in a system. I think they should bring in a system that the day before election or evening to the election season, when you see them van park up on the roadside, we're having a barrage of money. They should have a motorcade or curfew and find out what them doing with those amount of money in them van park up on the roadside.
The police then just pass them and gone about them.
I said, me work on Northeast St. Elizabeth, a book school. I see when me there book school, me get about 3 cars say me fi come and heal them. Me say what happen? A 7 girl with a labor right go around there. Because them did want me now to leave work school for them do them. Me stay there, look for my youth, them fabrics, and me say no go around there. I'm no ramp. Go road. Look here. I send some man like a junk of fly down on them, I have to lift up far around there. But I'm not play thing with no labor right. Yeah. That me I tell them. But them grown, they don't come from, but them come from Rock Hill. But them gone on island, gone Blackwood.
So all everybody have to do is just sit down and watch Mark Golden and wait and just listen and anything just so and not type
Comrade,
in
anything
no
what say
negative
happen,
comment.
as long as it possible, it all go through. We have confidence in Mark Golden.
Yeah, everything have a work out. And
It all work out.
I mean, even this morning, him show himself as a decent man.
Right.
If he may come and come going with himself and aggression, who we are got caught and we are this and we are going to make a fool of ourselves, then they laugh after it. Then they say, then him know better, say him not to do that. Anything
all
I
of
do.
the comrade them should come together and say that's good, Mark Golden, very good. I agree with you, sir. More on a type in them things and them same one give away.
That's why I said I give him thumbs up to really come to the platform with a press conference to really make we know what is what. Because people have been running with this, running with that. You know when time one mother and left in chicken, the chicken them they all over the place. But he take the time out to come and address us as a leader and make we know say listen. Because we don't have substantial evidence about certain things, it make no sense wasting time and looking like a fool in the court. But the one that is going to go through the court, we have evidence. But you see, people so dunce, people ungrateful. And me always tell people, yes, if you're ungrateful, not good can come at you. Because even all Mr. Perry, I go say anti-gen a cult. That text they should never come out. You think I should never making the type there something. I know say independent lady live they talk about the spirit, this and the spirit that.
Look here now, antigen. You live right them a chat, see I wanna type now. Look here. But them now, me sure say no ambition. If our leader, Mark Jefferson, going to win next shot, me know him come out, come give you a proper congratulation and a proper greeting. And now, them Prime Minister don't come out, come tell them a proper thanks. Tell them to count them, and do what is count them. And do what is count them.
Excuse me, you know what me here saying?
That's why I say me have to give him thumbs up because he take the time out to have a press meeting. And make he make even about the labor right them know say listen. It don't sit well, but there are certain things where we are going to make slide with the lawyer. But for one particularly, it's going to be in the court. And people are thankful for that. He never have to come out and say nothing at all to we.
When you carry all that type, the amount of running around the problem in an election play by him, not sponge still asleep, and he must frozy.
I wish one of them. Yeah.
So when you carry on.
I wish when they will see.
I know she not put him to that sponge as son. Find out how much is asleep, and I nobody like him not live right.
You're too bad.
Hello, you hear Mark Golden run away anybody from him this morning?
No.
And don't him answer every question them ask him? Don't.
Very intelligent too.
Very decent man. That is who we want.
Of course it is. Leaders who are not dictators. Well, when me see I go on the street in a Montego Bay, and a lot of people are sorry already say them vote for Labour right. They them a ball downtown there.
No man, them glad man. Make them
stay. Not going too far. Look at the first man that school open. Over 200 school students lock out of school. But I think on a Mark Golden and Damien Crawford and that could happen. The first man at school, have a poor people send them back to school.
They don't believe, actually they believe right, they don't believe in education.
See, you see the man in Peter, see the Westmoreland, then you one car, one vehicle, run off one coaster them off the road, and the minute you run off the road, when I dog bust them, ready to come there to take up the pick them already, so I must something with them plan. Because it was right that time to take the pick them car to school, that's why I bust on off the road. Look, when I bus crash Monday, the driver went, alright, listen, they got the bus and them don't give the driver them a train, a left-hand drive vehicle. And when the bus, people going on the bus, I know road they have to walk going on the bus. Now, them send out a bus at center. And the bus reverse are looking at the school gate. My driver can't mind it. And them the minister of transport that come talk about that people bad drive the bus. The man who wicked tell me, I tell you, say, you see him? I try him out so twist up. Which part of people, nobody now going to school. The bad drive the bus. I know school get the bus at turn and crash. And him will come tell the media say, and people bad drive the bus. But a wicked man. But me thinking say if him wife lose him more step down, where my wait for? And someone step in have. Alright, man. And someone step in have when can't come again. Then thing that stay. Me say brother, I'm not glad for nothing, I'm glad how my rivers lose election.
Everybody like that. Everybody glad for that.
She too enough, man. Yeah, man. I'm not sure she go on. I'm not sure she go on like she go on like she have more time, more Andrew wants everybody in the Liberate Party.
Well, like she had the St. Jamaica.
She don't vagabond, brother.
Imagine doing it.
I said, you man go on and go on like she have fire in her head, fire in her fire, hand in her fire, and she realize she go on. Before God, the question that Jen come on when they on TikTok, I make those comments about Isa. Me want to know if Andrew is.
All I know. Who is this? Bantan? Who is Bantan? Okay. Me don't know that's somebody gone.
Alright, man, you can't cope with that box and go and sit down like that.
But them did take mother love so quick though, don't mama love, right?
Yeah.
Much mad man, they lock up in Jamaica. Listen. Mother love. I think mother love never get your vote.
Brother, no, me say mother love. Hold on. I mean say mother love on TikTok in our labor right crowd.
I saw him. He's from in my consequence. He's from in my era in Balaclava.
Yeah.
Him vote, man. But let me tell you, mother love.
Hold on there, Richard. So mother love vote for?
Him sick with him head, you know. God know him sick with him head. And the superintendent of Black Rock are fight against the youths them. Definitely. You know, some youth not the wrong thing. I forget to stand the right time laughing. But mother love is just definitely sick with him head. And if you realize mother love when him just start come on TikTok, him have on a green shirt down on him bottom and one orange up on top. And he put on an orange up on top and take one next shirt on him bottom. Him sick with him head, you know.
Oh.
And not just now when mother just now when his mother get down, mother just go on a Rose Valley Road, go look for his mother and assist his mother and he must say, then after me never see Solid come and help me mother. Me have a work with Jess. And the moment he swing to Jess, everybody start mashing.
Oh.
And the Port Antonio don't sick with him head though. The Port Antonio want to sick with him head. Everything him saying go and do is sense.
Yeah. Well I don't know, they don't know the Port Antonio. He might bam river and make mud come down and he might take out back pump. And long they don't find it. But I know about mother love sick still.
And then one time Isaac supposed to do everything that him promised. You see how wicked him look on life? And him all give him the living hell up there. That's what him say.
Yeah, I want them pay him to do.
Yeah.
And then we want next. You see Dr. Bloomfield when they kill over Poland, somebody need to bring to justice field. And a life coming. There's somebody to bring to justice here because if it was in a downward field, correct, we just say we say I know everything we say over years so make somebody think you stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I chose still. Yeah.
I mean not gonna stay long with you now. Because I just come on for the
yeah man, no so
the meeting. So
me too, you know, me not gonna stay neither.
Yeah, so me I go run go somewhere you know. So later on we yeah man, so big up all I wanna big up on yourself.
Tamika, yeah.
Yeah man. Yeah.
Protect everyone and God be with everyone.
Antigen.
Yeah.
Antigen till later on.
Yeah, later on. Yeah man, later. Good. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.